All right, we are live. Welcome, as
Welcome.
as the police and are outside
Yeah, that
about
was
to go
right by.
save someone. welcome. If you're joining us here today, we are celebrating Infinite. If you don't know, we are celebrating 2 years of transforming gamers' lives and building the ultimate fitness and gaming platform where people can unlock infinite health, growth, and achievement in their life. I'm here with my team. Please introduce yourselves, starting with you, Jasper.
How you guys doing? My name is Jasper. I'm a wizard here at Infinite. Been with Walt for over 2 years now, and it's been a wonderful friend, first and foremost, and a wonderful mentor. And I'm so honored to be here.
Honored to have you here, man.
Thank you.
And Alex, introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex. Well, I've known Walt for quite a few years now, 5, as far as Facebook shows. Been a competitive powerlifter, bodybuilder, and just loved having to be here at Infinite. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Olia, last but
Hi
not
guys,
least.
thank you. So, hi guys, I am not a coach at Infinite, but I'm the operations person. So, I do all of the back end, secret kind of undercover stuff. But I support all of our warriors and all of our wizards, and it's awesome. I love it. And I'm also Walt's second half. That's how I know him and how I got involved with Infinite. Almost 2 years ago now, a little bit after the birthday of Infinite, or the inception of Infinite, I guess you can say.
Yes. And why not? Let's just jump straight into it. You say you're not a wizard here, but what are you about to embark on?
Yes, so I've been embarking on my own journey of heart-based NLP therapy and hypnotherapy. So one day in the hopefully near future, I will be also joining forces as a wizard.
Boom. There we go. That's huge. And I'm number one, I'm proud of you for going down this path that you chose, right? To provide more value to others besides just being in the background. Because you have power, you have knowledge, you have experience that you can give to other people. And of course, we need you to keep us all together from an operations standpoint, right?
Absolutely.
So it just helps us other wizards here to have someone else who specializes in an area that we do not specialize in at all. None of us know what you know, and that is your power. So I'm excited to see you share that power with other gamers here that we help at Infinite. So
Thank you.
awesome. I forgot to mention I didn't even introduce myself. If this is the first time you are seeing myself, my name is Walt. I'm the founder, lead designer, and master wizard here at Infinite. I have over a decade of experience transforming people's lives.
Yeah.
I'm a hardcore gamer since '95. I love RPGs. RPGs was the primary inspiration to add the gaming components to health and fitness. And we're here to change the game, literally and figuratively. Um, Fitness is a game. It's a game that's lost every day by many people out there, especially gamers. It's a game that most people don't choose to play because of lack of knowledge, fear, anxiety, lack of results, lack of motivation. The list goes on and on and on and on. And we believe that here at Infinite, we do that. We do that for people. And we don't just do that for everyone, we do that specifically for gamers. Because gamers are a neglected population. Some gamers are stuck in the virtual world and they don't know how to be the hero in the real world. We don't just do that for everyone, we do that specifically. Ooh. So, all that being said, we're here to celebrate Infinite, and how I want to start off this conversation today is I just want to share a little bit more about, how this even started. Like I said, I've been, personal training, I've been coaching for about a decade, but why did I all of a sudden be like, yo, let's create this, and oh, also let's just, well, all right. So the short story is I tried a lot of things in my life. I created a lot of things, a lot of programs, a lot of ideas, and I designed a lot of things. But however, you know, I never was able to marry the two things that I loved, which was fitness and gaming. I never was able to combine the two in a way that was synergistic and actually made sense, right? Without being super nerdy and no one would get it, right? And in December 2020, I had a notebook, I had a piece of paper, and I felt compelled to create something. I didn't know what I was creating. It was a blank piece of paper, right? I think everything starts with a blank piece of paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I started writing down what I loved about RPGs and role playing games. I started writing down, you know, the type of character that I like to play as in games, which primarily is a barbarian. Reason why I like playing as the barbarian is because I like charging in and destroying everything. Relentlessly, just coming in, destroying things. So I started to be like, well, what's a barbarian like? If there was a barbarian in the fitness world, what would it be like? And I said, well, you know what? It's kind of like, it's kind of like a bodybuilder in a way.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit like a bodybuilder. It's intense. It takes a lot of grit and tenacity and will and discipline. And barbarians are these kind of muscular savages. And I'm like, well, you know what? That's kind of like, they're kind of similar. Then I started to be like, well, what are other types of like video game type characters that are like real world fitness? And I was like, what about a ninja? Right? Well, ninjas are like agile. They can jump around. They can traverse things. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like calisthenics and like parkour and stuff like that. I'm like, huh, damn, these two, this is kind of very, very similar. Ninjas, kind of like calisthenics and bodyweight training. And then that's when something clicked in my mind where I was like, and what else? And that's when I thought of, well, and what about an orc? Well, an orc is these gigantic creatures, powerful. They can literally they're like 8 feet tall, and there's just these creatures that are just all powerful and strong. I'm like, it's kind of like a power lifter. Who are the strongest people on the planet? It's like, well, power lifters, right? World's strongest man, right? It's like, well, shit. And then lastly, I was like, well, what about the women, right? Like women training in the gym. Well, like, what are they doing? Well, in 2020, I don't know if it's changed since 2023, but at the time, everyone on IG and all the social media platforms was all about building an ass. Right? All the booty models, IG models. So I'm like, well, and at the time or before COVID, I was training a lot of women, building glutes and things like that. I'm like, well, they're kind of like glute goddesses. And that's when the goddess class came to mind. I was like, well, like they're like these divine feminine type of, people that just want to develop, a strong lower body. And that was the foundation of Infinite, those first 4 classes. And what went from there just turned into what you see here today. And I have to say, from the get-go, like, I would have not even imagined us creating what we've created up to this point and helping who we've helped up to this point, just based off of those 4 ideas that popped into my brain on a piece of paper. Like, how many times have we wrote something down on a piece of paper and like forgot about it, or just was like, oh well, fuck it.
Countless.
Right? But for
all the
some,
time.
what was that?
All the time back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, I could not stop thinking about this. And I have not stopped thinking about this since that day. Every day, I just saw this opportunity to create something that, number one, has never been created, and number two, something that can impact people's lives. And that was the moment when I saw that opportunity has not stopped from the moment I woke up every single day. And it makes me happy to get to this point because most businesses fail in the first year. And we were coming out from COVID. And let's just say a lot of businesses failed once COVID happened. But we're still going strong and we're growing. And that is how it basically started. One side story before I want to get everyone else's opinion on what got you here in the first place is, what about the name Infinite? Like, where did it come from? Well, I was thinking about the name like Infinite or something. You should really see the names I had. I had Dragon Warriors. I had like Fitness Mastery. You don't even want to hear the other ones. Like, if you thought those were bad, like, you don't want to know. But there was just something that kind of stuck with me for a long time, and I don't want to get too sentimental here, but I have a late cousin. Her name is Anastasia Jackson, and she passed away in an accident in the Navy a long time ago, 7 to 8 years ago. And she was a huge gamer, and I was looking for inspiration. I didn't know where to get it from, and I went to her Facebook profile. And I've not been there in a long time. And the first thing I saw on her Facebook profile was a word that I didn't even know the meaning of it. It was a Japanese word. It was Mugen. And Mugen is Japanese for infinite. And I was like, do we call it Mugen? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't it's not even English, And I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, this got to be a sign. This got to be something. Why? Why did that just speak to me? And I'm just saying, infinite, 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 over and over again. My Facebook profile was that to me. I think we got infinite. But Olia was in Hawaii at the time, and I was on the treadmill, and I was doing cardio, and I'm just thinking infinite, infinite. I'm just saying it over and over again, and then it just came to me, infinite, and I'm like, fit. Like, we want to help gamers get fit, right? Like, it's a fitness thing. We're a fitness brand, we're a fitness company, like fit. And I'm like, infinite. It
fits.
And I'm like, holy shit. This is it. And I never forget. I immediately texted Olia while she was in Hawaii, and I'm like, Infinite, this is it. This is it. Blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, yeah, I like it. La, la, la. I'm like, this is it. No take backs, no nothing.
Oh, yeah.
so so I literally trademarked it. I fully committed. I never forget hitting the button to file the trademark for Infinite. And I knew this was, I just knew it because prior to that, I actually trademarked Walt Workout. And it was a personal brand. I did not know how to create a team if Walt is in the front of everything. Doesn't make sense. I didn't want to be, you know, I don't want Walt to be everywhere. But Infinite is a different story. So that's just two stories about how Infinite got here. But I'm gonna throw it over to Olia first, and then Alex, and then Jasper. Olia, you've been with me for 3 years. You're my fiance, and you've seen the inception of Infinite before anyone else here. So I got to know, like, you didn't get involved with Infinite till later on. So what got you to start getting more involved with Infinite?
So many things, honestly. I could talk for a long time, but if I was to summarize, I love health and fitness. I used to work in corporate America for a finance company. Just doing the daily grind, but health and fitness were always a passion of mine. And I did a lot of self-education and kind of trying to figure out stuff on my own. And I realized and I still wasn't getting where I wanted to be on my own either. Like I had parts and pieces, but I couldn't put it together for a whole that was going to lead me to where I wanted to be. So Infinite made me realize the true value of mentorship and help, because it's so hard to do it all on your own. And I watched the nights and 14, 16 hours days that Walt was putting in, all the work that was going into it. I saw the success stories. I saw the lives that were being changed and improved. And it really made me believe and want to be a further part of it too. So eventually I made the decision to leave my work and pursue this with Walt as a team, and with Alex and Jasper as well, to really grow this passion, help more people in an area that I know that we absolutely can. So that's the gist of it.
Awesome. And like, what was the first step that you ever took when you were like, I want to help?
Oh, we were talking about like having some items, and I think the very first thing I bought was stickers. I was like, hey, we need some Infinite stickers with this cool, sick logo. And so I got some stickers. I got like a decal for my car, and then I got these really cool holographic stickers too. They look like this shiny. But anyways, that was my very first thing. And then eventually I started getting involved with like marketing, newsletters, all of those different business functions and
Operation.
operationals. Yeah. So a year and a half, a little over a year and a half in, yeah, it's been a wild ride, but I've grown tremendously and helped others grow. And that is a beautiful thing.
100%. You heard it here, folks. It started with stickers.
Mhm.
And then look at where she is now. Like, but that's incredible. Like, it really just starts with taking that first step, right? And, the best part is that you took that first step yourself. I didn't have to force you to do anything. Like, you did this all through your own perspective of what you saw of what Infinite can be and how you can add value to what we're doing here. And that's huge. So thank you for sharing that. Alex, you have the title of second wizard at Infinite. That's huge. Huge title here, man.
Yeah,
Please
been
share.
around a little while.
Oh, you've been around the corner, so to speak.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, so
Please,
where do I
please
been
share.
around a little while.
Oh, you've been around the corner. Oh, hold up.
Thanks for sharing that.
We got an echo.
Little bit of technical difficulties. I think we're good now.
Cool. Yes, please share.
Well, pretty much it started about 5 or 6 years ago. I was working out at Total Nutrition out in Bremerton. It's a supplement shop. And Walt and I had seen each other at the local gym every once in a while, and had respect for what each other was doing. I could tell that he knew what he was doing, and I'm a stickler for form. I'm a form person, and we bonded immediately on that. And then he kept coming in the shop, and
by the way.
we were talking, and he just kept coming in, kind of slow tripping this idea to me, and it started perking up more and more as the time went, and we hit a workout one of those nights, and I think we sat in the parking lot for 2 hours, hour and a half after the gym closed, just chatting about the future and what this could be and the potential of it, and how many people we can help. So that was kind of the catalyst to it all, right there. I'd done a little traveling before that and realized on that trip that when I came home, I wanted to potentially do that more, or at least have the ability to if I wanted to. And one of the avenues for that was through Infinite. Having the option of going 100% online was very appealing to me, especially at the time when I wanted to do a lot of traveling. That was still appealing to me because you can make your own schedule, you can do your own things. But it was good. He pitched the idea, and I was kind of hooked because at the time I wasn't gaming too much, but in my childhood I have a lot. Multiple different games, all different styles, and so when he started mentioning that, it hit a little bit of a switch because it was something new, it was something different, it was something that nobody's done or I'd never seen at least. And then over the last couple of years, we've just been putting our heads together and snowballing ideas. Some good, some bad, but we always come back and revise. And because it's just like working out. If you do a workout that hurts you, you're not going to do it again, but you can do it safer. So we're just kind of doing the same thing with business and trying to bring you guys the best that we can.
Damn right, man.
Mm-hmm.
And a wizard specifically, what got you to want to be a wizard?
Yeah. When I was about 21, I'm about 30, almost 32 now. When I was 21, I was drinking a lot, as most 21-year-olds do, and that started really affecting my health.
Oh yeah.
And I've told these guys that I actually got out of the shower one morning and I looked at myself and audibly asked what the hell happened. And so from that point on, I started changing my diet, working out more, moving more, making better choices, hanging out with better people, and started to take the weight off and feel stronger and feel more confident and be able to push more weight and run further and eat more, but not have it be fat. And it really started getting everything going, and I just enjoyed it so much. I got into it so deeply that I had a bunch of people asking me for advice. Today, man, how you doing this? How you doing that? How's my squat? This and that. And it was really fun to me. It was really fun to watch people take on something new and challenging and come out the other end stronger, more confident, overall better. And then I was training at the time in a gym. I still am, different gym, but we got talking and it sounded too appealing to say no. And I figured I could take these skills and apply them there and make something of it.
Hell yeah, man. And as a wizard, it's a high responsibility, right? For what we're doing here for gamers. And you mentioned that form is your forte. So why do you feel like that's so important, especially for gamers?
What can I say? Why I kind of was drawn to it. It started with powerlifting, and I saw the potential dangers in powerlifting. You know, a lot of injuries and different things, and the what I came back to was that a lot of it was form. It was form. If you want to get stronger, you have better form. If you don't want to injure yourself, you have better form. You know, so it was a lot of that, and it just you just feel better when you move, and when you feel better as you're moving, you want to do it more, or you're at least willing to do it more. And injury prevention, you know, that's huge. That's what takes a lot of people out of it. And they think, okay, you know, I don't have to work out. I have an injured leg, and when in reality, what you want to do is, with proper form, work it and bring it back.
Absolutely. And something to add, when we started Infinite, the first company, organization, whatever you want to call them, that I wanted to partner with was the Pain-Free Performance Specialists. So that means a lot to myself as well as Alex and everyone here, because that was the first thing I had all the wizards to do, was get certified in pain-free performance, because that's the cornerstone to everything that we're doing here at Infinite for gamers. Because if gamers want to be playing the Infinite game for the rest of their life, they need to follow a long-term path and a long-term approach for training and recovery, injury prevention, and so much more. And that was a standard that I wanted to have for everyone here. And Alex was the first person to get PPSC certified other than myself. Alex will be back here in a moment. And it was huge because this was the standard, it was the values that we wanted to live upon here. And it's the one thing that makes us different than all the other fitness solutions out there trying to have short-term quick fixes for everything, right? Pain-free performance is the long game. And that's the opposite of what everyone else is promoting nowadays. And we wanted to play the long game, the infinite game, the one that you play forever. So the fact that Alex here was like, this is the standard, I agreed with him. Form, technique, injury prevention, all these other things must be the standard, and it's not. And we have to educate ourselves, number one, and we have to teach this to other people. So thank you, Alex, for sharing that. That means a lot to me, and I'm glad you're here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Been a pleasure.
Jasper.
Yo.
What's up, Jasper? Tell us about what inspired you to be part of Infinite.
Wow. Actually, it started out with arrogance and fear, because I was constantly failing in my bodybuilding career when I first started, right? And which is right around the time that I had met you, right around the time when you did your first show. I was in prep for doing mine, which was like somewhere in October, and I was just so cocky, so arrogant about it. I thought I had all the answers. I thought I knew everything about everything when it came to bodybuilding, right? And I failed, and then I failed again, right? And one day I realized that, like, I need help if I need to get to the next level, right? And I also need to get with someone that I know and I trust, who is very knowledgeable. And if he doesn't know the answer right now, he's gonna find out, right? And then that's when we connected. Back when it was still Walt workout, right? It was Walt workout for about like 10 seconds, and then it turned into Infinite like a month later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was very adamant to not have me be the forefront in the branding, marketing, all that stuff, whatever. But
Yeah.
wow, that's very different
Mhm.
than each one of our stories here. You know, what do you think it was other than the, I would say, the, overcoming that kind of fear and arrogance? What was the thing about either
Oh,
Infinite or myself that you were
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I not only want to learn more, but I want to be a part of this?
yeah. The answer is very, very simple. And sometimes I get kind of emotional about this. It's because I believe in you, bro. Yeah.
That's the
Um,
answer.
I believe in you, and I believe in all my teammates, and I believe in what we're doing here. And another thing is that we have something very, very unique here with the way that we approach things, And I'll give away one secret. Uh, it's being able to craft your own avatar, right? And the way that I describe an avatar is that it's it's the embodiment of what you perceive yourself to be inside, right?
Mm,
And it's also an extension
mm,
of your training style, right? So to kind of piggyback on what you were saying earlier, when you're talking about this tenacity, this nastiness, this grit, right? Training like a bodybuilder, being a barbarian. That's also not just a training style, but that's also like an extension of a reflection of what you feel deep down inside about how you want to achieve things in life, right? Because you got to have that grit. Sometimes you got to do the dirty work, the disgusting drop sets and all that other stuff in the gym, right? Or
and
working
outside the gym.
like
Oh
or
yeah.
like working long hours at nighttime and then looking out the window and it's light out again, Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I,
that's yeah. Go
I,
go ahead.
for, I forgot to mention that I also hired Walt first as my coach before being entered onto Infinite. I don't know if you mentioned that while I was away, but
No,
wanted
no,
to add that.
and actually everyone here,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
everyone, and
Yeah.
it's interesting. Jasper, you mentioned a lot about belief,
Right.
and that belief, not just in Infinite, but in me. What built that belief?
Oh, so what built that belief was actually challenging me, challenges, right? Challenging me to level up my skills, to level up my avatar, which actually coincides with leveling up your soul and your mind and who you are as a person, right? Like there's a lot of personal growth that you can go through just in the gym itself, but when you when you sit down with someone like what we're doing right now, and for all the viewers out there, having that uncomfortable conversation about your shortcomings, why
Hmm.
you failed, and what exactly is keeping you from getting to the next level.
And what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember that exact same stuff. I'd never really had a coach before, and Walt had programmed me some different workouts and exercises and some new stuff that I hadn't done before. And I fought it for the first couple weeks because there were some exercises on there that I am not partial to, and there were some things that were just straight up uncomfortable or
Yep.
annoying.
Oh yeah.
But
Like
but
some hip
there's a
thrust, huh?
purpose.
Like,
Yeah, the hip thrust, the warm up stuff that I never really gave much thought about or anything because of one being a younger guy and just being a bull, wanting to head plow through things. But Jasper mentioned the arrogance part, and that was also one of the things that I had to quiet in my own head to make progress.
Oh,
I at that point I was already a trainer. I I already had a year under my belt or so. So I thought I knew a lot. I thought I was pretty hot shit. But it takes a different mind sometimes to show you your shortcomings or to help you get out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things that really helped build the belief in me. Was that one day I said, screw it, I'm just going to do everything that he tells me to do. And within a couple months, I added, what was it, 40, 50 pounds to my deadlift for 5 reps.
Damn.
It was healthy gains, and I attribute it to Walt. So it was from that you can really open your mind and really see all the options that are there, and it starts with just kind of getting out of your own way.
Oh yeah, and oh yeah, you had a similar story as well, correct?
very similar story. I also thought I knew a lot being in the gym, getting tips and tricks from all the different gym people that I just tried to piece together. I made some level of progress, but I wasn't where I wanted to be, not even close. Walt helped me get so much stronger. He helped clear up a ton of myths around nutrition. And there's a million and one of them out there. I'm able to walk around stronger, leaner, and just, better every day now. And it was a very kind of a steep, tough learning curve at first, but the most success that I see from people are the ones that just do complete the steps on the plan that's laid out for them. If you follow directions, you are going to have success, period. So, yeah.
Awesome. And I don't want this conversation to turn into about me. This is not about me at all, but I wanted to kind of prove a point is that when you believe in somebody or something enough and you do whatever it takes to be the person that you believe you can be, and that other person believes in you, you can create any success that you want. And at the end of the day, it comes down to not just you guys believing in me, what I can do for you, but me believing in you guys. And that is the standard that we have here at Infinite for everyone that comes through our doors. Is yes, they've all learned from me, they all believed in me, but at the same time, everything that I've taught them is being taught to everyone else. And we are all learning every single day. And we're all growing together. And we want to help more people grow as well. And that's the beauty of it. But at the end of the day, like you all said it starts first with belief, right? Believing in what you can do and then believing in yourself that you can do it. And that's the first step, and it's so beautiful because you all just literally shared that you each had your own individual experience around belief. And this is amazing because like that's everyone that we've helped up to this point has their own story of belief too.
Mm-hmm.
So we just literally talked about the very first step to truly changing the trajectory of your life. So that was so awesome. Thank you guys for sharing that. It means a lot to me. Um, and let's kind of shift gears here. So we talked about what got us here. You know, let's all just share one moment, one memory, one experience, one person, whatever that may be that you remember, helping or influencing here at Infinite. I'll start first with you, Olia.
Um, May. I love to see May just all of her posts that she makes, all of the people that she impacts. Like the fact that she has inspired so many of her friends is the most incredible things that I have seen. She's a rock star. She is in my memory forever, and she is incredible, and I cannot wait to see her, do more. And all of our ladies in the academy, I don't know, everybody is amazing. But if I had to pick the one on the spot, May. But she also shares a lot, so
True. Very, very true. Alex, favorite moment, memory, experience, person, whatever you got. Number one.
I'd say overall, just with the coaching, the general air of helping people change. I've had quite a few people tell me that one little nugget of information you gave me shifted my mindset completely about nutrition or working out or the mentality behind it, the philosophy behind it, whatever you want to say. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I hang on to is when they repeat it back to you, you know that they understand it.
mm-hmm.
So when they say, "Oh, thank you so much for teaching me what protein is, what a carbohydrate is, or how to measure fats, or this and that, whatever it might be," and it's very rewarding to know that they really soaked it in and picked it up.
Awesome.
Mhm.
That I can kind of speak for everyone here, like as wizards and future wizards. That moment of that aha moment that you see the other person have is what we strive for and what we do. When we can connect the dots and that connection is permanent and they have that aha moment, that's what gives us that fulfillment. Of course, the transformations, they're great, right? But at the end of the day, it's truly the process of change that's the most beautiful. So, thank you for sharing that, Alex. That was definitely that's definitely hits me in the right spot too, of course.
Oh yeah.
Jasper, please share favorite moment, memory, person,
Yeah,
experience.
for me, it's a memory. It was about a year ago before I became a wizard, and I'm sure some of the people here are watching this that they can relate to this or start to relate to this. But I was at a crossroads. The crossroads. It was you're either going to prove that you can perform well on stage and you can coach people and lead them to do so, or you're just talking, right? And it was also a huge journey for me personally, for to transform into the person I am right now and who I'm going to be, right? Because we all go through different journeys. So, long story short, I performed well, uh, and I proved to myself, I made myself a believer in myself that I can coach people, I can coach them well, and I can make them believe in themselves, right? And help them tap into whatever is locked in, right? Because you don't ever want to go to the grave with greatness stuck inside of you.
Mm, wow, that's the truth. There is great power in all of us, including the people that we help, right? Because when we
Mm.
help the people
every
that we
single
help,
one.
they can help who they know.
Yep.
And that's Olia, you gave the example of May, right? That's exactly what May is doing. We helped May, now May is helping all of her friends, right? And that's at the end of the day, what we're trying to build here is a community of warriors. And what does it mean to be a warrior? Well, you're willing to fight for your future. You're willing to sacrifice now for what you can acquire in the future. What does it mean to be a warrior inside the gym? Well, it means doing all the uncomfortable, challenging things like Alex, you were mentioning. And you're questioning, why am I doing this? Why should I do another set? Why should I do another rep? And then you do it. And the person that you become on the other side of that, that is a warrior.
It's not a huge event either. It's not this massive thing where party pops out and everybody comes celebrates you.
Mhm.
It's an internal thing.
Yeah,
It
it's
is a
mirror. It's
5
mirror.
or 10-second moment where you go, holy shit, I did that. And then you shift. So you have to apply yourself. You have to do the hard stuff. Yeah, it's all about challenge.
And that's what we want to do for gamers, because gamers do it just in different ways. They just haven't figured out how to do it with their health, their fitness, their mindset, their nutrition, and all the things that we help here at Infinite, right? Gamers do it in games that they master all the time. They overcome challenges, they challenge themselves, they push through, they persevere, they become creative, and they just are masters at that game. But we want to show a different game that they can master as well, and that is the Infinite game. So huge. Jasper.
Yeah.
Question for you. What do you want to see in the future of Infinite?
In the future of Infinite?
Yes. You mentioned earlier about believing in me, believing in Infinite, and what we can do.
Mhm.
What do you believe we can do?
Okay, you asked the question. I've actually been waiting this entire meeting. for this. Okay,
So this is where you can insert your speech.
so we're global. We're global. We have a gamified, we're going to have the first ever gamified app, right? Everything is just like the configuration, the look, and everything. It's like you're playing like Elden Ring or like Diablo. You got all your quests, you got all your workouts, you got all your tracking done, everything. Absolutely just incredible, right? And then with all of us are just successful at what we do, right? Um, we can, yeah. That's pretty much what I envision. We just all of us are happy, successful, healthy, um, and the people that we impact are spreading the word, and they're impacting other people as well. And for gamification to be just like this brand new trend in fitness that just catches fire everywhere.
Mm. Wow. I see that too. I'm sure each one of us can see that as well. So, dude, thank you for sharing that. And I just want to kind of take a step back real quick before I head to you, Alex. And I never mentioned my favorite moment, my favorite experience. And this is it right here. This experience right here. Talking about the future with each one of you and every single one of the warriors that I've coached. Having this conversation, because this conversation does not happen at all. There's not enough people having these types of conversations, talking about problems and challenges like you were sharing, Jasper and Alex, overcoming that inner dialogue, right? And those mindset things, really visualizing what each one of you can be. All of these conversations, going through the trenches, going through the fire, no matter how challenging it was, gave me so much fulfillment because I remember all of those conversations, every single one. All those conversations when you're on the brink, you're on the brink of just falling down the cliff. But then there's that one moment when you say, you know what? Enough is enough. And then next thing you know, you climbed up a mountain
Mm.
and now you're completely the person that you believed you can be. And that is the moment that gave me fulfillment. And that's why I wanted to kind of go into that next question of the future, because I think about that all the time, right? I thought about that every day after writing down a piece of paper, those 4 classes. Right? Every day it just shaped into something bigger, something more vivid, something more clear, as if it was like literally I'm looking in through a freaking telescope and I could just see the future vividly, and it's those moments that gave me so much clarity because I seen that with every one of you here and every single warrior that we've impacted. They had this spark, this image in their mind, and all we did was kept fueling it, kept creating it, kept reminding every single day, every single moment when they were challenged to be a warrior or not. Those moments reflected that image in their mind, and my image in my mind of them, and that, ah, all the warriors. I could name I could name so many, but if you're watching this, if you are a warrior at Infinite, I remember all those special moments. So I just wanted to mention that. Thank you for sharing, Jasper. We're gonna dive deeper into that at the end. I have a surprise for everyone that's tuned in up to this point. But Alex, what do you see? The
It
future.
all comes back to community. Having a good group of people, working here, and a good group of people that want to change and challenge themselves.
Hmm.
And having those ripples reach out as far as possible is the ultimate goal, in my opinion. You can't help everyone, but we want to help as many people as we can, and that's willing to accept our help, and we're more than willing to give it. And so I think, the more we just keep pushing and bringing people in and keeping them educated about different things that we do here is just going to grow that community. And step by step, it happens. Just like working out, rep by rep, workout by workout. You build something. So I see a large community of fit, healthy people that are confident in their abilities physically, mentally, nutritionally, and are ultimately better for that.
Damn
It's
right.
all about quality of life.
Community, change, and challenge. That's 3 incredible C words that I can also see as well, man. So thank you for sharing that. Now we have to manifest it, right? Now we gotta turn that into a reality. So again, last but not least, Olia, please share. You mentioned in the very beginning that your journey to get to this point. This is something that you would have never imagined, like you being eventually a wizard, right? Like, what do you see beyond that for yourself and Infinite?
I want to piggyback off of everybody else too, and I'm going to make it really short and simple. I want to be able to impact as many people, to have them feel confident in themselves, like Alex said, physically, nutritionally, and mentally. And I want these people to influence everyone that is around them to be their best selves too. Because having your friend that you see every day be an inspiration to you is so much more powerful than seeing a random person on the internet. Um, it just doesn't compare. So the more people that we can have becoming their most best confident selves so that they can impact the other people around them is the ultimate goal.
Amazing. I agree. 100%. And that's, that's something that it, it's something that like we can 100% accomplish, right? And a prime example is what you shared was May, right? Like there are thousands, tens of thousands of people like May out there with friends that are struggling, family that's struggling. And it's our job to serve those people because we have a solution. We've proven it for 2 years, right? We individually have proven it to ourselves, right? So it's our duty to make Infinite as big as it needs to be to reach these people that could then influence the people that they know. And that's what I meant by responsibility when it comes to being a wizard. Because when we help someone transform, when we help someone change, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of commitment on our part and their part. But when we get through that process, the result at the end of that, yes, is great physically, mentally, nutritionally. That's incredible. But what's more powerful than that is what they can do for others.
Mm-hmm.
So that community part is truly what I also want to see for Infinite as well. That was something I said in the beginning of the year in January as one of our C's, which was community. Community was so big. So I also see that, and as the lead designer here, as the initial creator here, we wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for each one of you here, as well as each one of the warriors that we've served, and each one of you that are watching here, by the way. What I see is a combination of what everyone else said, but the one thing that really stuck out to me was what you said as going global. And it's not about like just having our name out there. It's just having the awareness of more people and how we can be a solution to their struggles and challenges. It's not about success. It's not about money. It really is just about awareness because what we've built here can change people. And if more people are aware of us and what we can do for them and everyone that they know, that's powerful. That's a word that we call impact. So I see us impacting more people. And from now until the rest of this year and beyond, that's exactly what we're going to be working on. That's exactly what we're going to be figuring out on our end is how can we reach more people so that they become more aware of us so that we can help them. Because at the end of the day, if no one knows what Infinite is or who we are, what we do, and how we help, and what our solution is, and how impactful we can be, then we're doing all those people who are struggling a disservice that we can help. So I see all the things. I see the app. I see everything. Everything you can imagine. And the best part is too, I've heard a lot of things from a lot of people. Like, I think that's the coolest part is people outside of Infinite, people inside. It's like people are just excited about what we can do.
Mhm.
And I think that's the one of the best parts is that like this isn't just a transactional thing. Like this is not just some product or service where you just use it once and then all of a sudden like I'll just try something else or I'll drop this thing. This is an experience that you never want to let go. That's how powerful this is because once you change yourself and you inspire someone else to take that next step to change, you never want to let this go.
Mhm.
And that's the power of what we're creating here. And it excites me just talking about it. Like this is literally what I think about all the time. So if you're wondering, hey Walt, why are you working so hard on this thing? Like, don't you want to get some sleep? It's like, yeah, but like look at this. And Olia has had to, keep me grounded, many times when I would get lost in the grandiose adventure that is, awaiting us.
Yes,
Um,
part of my job.
yes, because all that stuff ain't gonna happen if we don't focus on what's going on now, and that's something that we teach to all our warriors. It's about conquering the day, just right here today. Past, eh, future, great, but what's better is what we control here today. So that's incredible. Thank you all for sharing that. And to finish up this live, I don't want to go too much longer than this. We've been going for about an hour. Um, Apologies to anyone that's showing up now at the end. But there is, there will be a recording of this, so you can rewatch it. And I have a surprise announcement if you are tuning in. So if you are tuning in now and you missed the whole thing, you got super lucky. Congratulations. I got something that I'm going to share with everyone that no one knows. No one knows about this. Okay. And it's awesome. And I'm going to share the awesomeness with you all. So I'm going to share my screen here. And introduce to y'all hopefully this works out here.
Ooh.
This is concept art, not final, of our new warrior class.
Ooh.
It is the dwarf. Dwarves specialize in strength training. We have the barbarian and we have the orc. The barbarian is our muscle building hypertrophy class. The orc is our powerlifting class. And now we're going to have the dwarf who specializes in strength training. This is the male dwarf, but don't you worry, there is drum roll. There is
Oh,
the
crazy
female dwarf as well. And something I want to mention is strength training is a component of all of our classes.
Mm-hmm.
It's the foundation of all training, actually. But what's going to make the dwarf different than any of the other classes is it's primarily 100% emphasized by strength and strength alone in a number of different facets. So if you were to kind of connect strength, think about the strongest that you can think about other than powerlifters. So open poll, who's really, really strong but is not a powerlifter?
Brian Shaw.
Brian Shaw.
Yeah.
Perfect example. He's a dwarf. He even kind of looks like one, but just is like taller, you know?
Just like 6'10",
Yeah, he's a tall
give or
dwarf.
take.
Tall dwarf. But that is the surprise announcement. We're going to have a dwarf class here. It is
I like it.
something that, you know, is going to be very interesting because, Jasper, you mentioned one of the coolest things that you like about Infinite is the avatars, right? And when you break it down, there's a lot of unique combinations that
Mm-hmm.
you can combine now with the dwarf class. For example, what if this is really gonna really open things up? What if you train as the dwarf class and you're in the power boosting mastery? So you're primarily training strength, but also power. What could happen? Right? Is this like a ultimate combo that's like never really been done before, right? Like who knows, right? What if you do the dwarf class and you do fat burning? So you're training strength and then also focusing on fat loss, and you're now focusing on either maintaining your strength or even possibly building your strength while also reducing your body fat percentage. Who does that? Not many people.
Mm-hmm.
Possibilities and combinations that open up are infinite. So super excited. This is our 7th class. And I'm excited to, number one, work with the wizards in creating the programming for this. Each one of us is pain-free performance specialist certified, where we specialize in functional strength training. So functional strength training is going to be at the core of the dwarf class. So we all are going to be able to work together and to really fine tuning how do we get people super, super strong without emphasizing power. That's going to be the big thing because functional strength and power training are very, very different. And that's why we have the orc class and now the dwarf class. So what do you guys think? This is just laying it on everybody for the first time.
I think it's a good option because powerlifting, like you said, you're usually primarily doing 3 lifts, so it's less functional and applicable to daily life, if you will. So you go squat, bench, deadlift. Power man, think more of like farmer carries, carrying heavy groceries. You caught a yoke on your back. You're moving Atlas stones. So you're moving through a lot larger range of motion, but still applying that same intensity. So I think that'll relate to a lot of people that don't want to compete or don't want to just squat, bench, and deadlift.
Mm-hmm.
Well said. And you competed in powerlifting, and you in your specific powerlifting league you were also doing overhead press too, correct?
Yeah, so that was the difference in that one. It was a little bit smaller federation,
Mhm.
But what they wanted to do was, instead of the bench press, straight up bench press, was a strict standing overhead press. So you'd start with the bar right at shoulder height, and without bending your legs or dipping anything, you'd have to press that way straight overhead and lock out.
Boom. So in a way, we were almost dipping into dwarf territory in a way, like
Dipping a toe.
dipping a toe into that, but not quite there. It's still the powerlifting kind of foundation to it too. But that's awesome, dude. Thanks for sharing that. Jasper, what do you think? I'm
Man,
dying to
dude,
know.
the first thing I thought about, when combining these classes, I was thinking about like a dwarf barbarian class. I thought about Ronnie Coleman.
A dwarf with the muscle building mastery is what you're basically saying.
Yeah,
So a strength training focused muscle
becoming
building program.
becoming ridiculously strong.
The first person that comes to my mind is Mike O'Hearn.
Like a Michael Hearn, Ronnie Coleman kind of a barbarian. Like just like strength that is just abnormal. Like a dwarf, like dwarves, right? They have abnormal abilities. They're really strong. Really
Very
strong.
true. Very, very true. And something I did not mention, which I guess is announcement part two, is this also opens up the opportunity for a strength mastery. So remember, we have classes, we have masteries, and we have levels. So that means now we can possibly have the goddesses have a strength to focus on strength, right? You want to get stronger as well. See what I'm saying? The possibilities now can it just opens up a lot because think about it like this, like the orc class, their primary mastery is power, right? Barbarian primary mastery is muscle building, right? So each one of these classes bring in its own mastery, but then once you combine different ones together, do you see the possibilities? Is that incredible?
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, like you mentioned, they overlap, and your first avatar doesn't necessarily have to be your lifelong avatar. So maybe you start as an orc, you start powerlifting, and you go, it's a little too one directional for me, little too bland, but you still want to focus on strength. Then you complete that program, pop over to be a dwarf, and then you have that strength applicable to different movements.
There we
Or
go.
let's say you
Yep.
put on too much weight being a dwarf or an orc or whatever, and you want to be a barbarian because you want to go to a bodybuilding show now. You're not limited. You can hop and skip, but you just do have to complete the program first.
Yeah. Well said. Right. We don't want people to be like dropping from class to class. And of course,
No half
we
program prep.
yeah. Like, of course, there's nothing wrong with like trying out a class that you're unfamiliar with. But, sticking it to the end in your specific mastery, like, for example, if you're focusing on fat loss, you know, the how training wise is kind of, it doesn't. I wouldn't say it doesn't matter, but like you can finish the program and still get the results because obviously the other components besides training style, right? So that's what we encourage is to always follow through once you do choose your avatar. But Olia, what do you think, dwarf? You're
Awesome. Super awesome. Strength for me has always been, I mean, I tried a lot of the different classes. I tried the goddess class, I tried the barbarian class, I tried the orc class. So now I'm just really looking forward to trying the dwarf class because I think that's going to be like the sweet spot for me.
I think so too, because it's interesting because I've seen Olia try to do what we did not recommend doing before. She would try to jump from avatar to avatar and be like, "Hey, I want to get super strong and powerful," and then it's like, "Actually, I kind of want to do this muscle isolation and like all this other glute stuff," and then so I had to, keep her, focused on one area. But now I think this is the good middle ground because now you could kind of go in any direction. Like, for example, you could be a dwarf and you can focus on glute building, possibly. You can focus on fat loss, right? You can focus on building muscle. See what I'm saying? And it's just like the foundation, and then you can build that foundation however way you want. So,
And I love strength too because it's like the core of longevity too. Like you want to be functional long term for decades and decades, you got to build strength.
It's a good measurement.
Good
Also,
measure.
progress.
100%. How strong you are is going to really determine a lot about, how you feel, how you move, and how you function. So,
Yep.
so yeah, that's the dwarf class. Expect more updates on that shortly. We're going to be building this one step at a time. We're not going to just build all of this out and drop it on everyone. One step at a time. But we are committing to the dwarf class, seventh class at Infinite. But yeah, this is basically everything that I wanted to cover here today with everyone here and on the call and the team. Again, if you've missed anything, feel free to catch the replay. We dropped a lot of gems from each one of us, really just sharing our stories, what got us here, what motivates us, and what inspires us to not only get started, but also continue to be here and serve others. So really powerful conversation if you missed it. But yeah, get excited for the future of Infinite. We ain't going nowhere. And we're hungry and we're eager to be impacting more gamers' lives. So thank you for being here with us. Any final words from anyone?
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. Thank you for believing in us and then your continued belief. And I think we can make a lot of really good things happen and build a very good community with this.
I second that.
Amen.
Yep.
Hallelujah. All right, guys.
Cool.
Well, thank you for tuning in and stay tuned. Peace
Right
out,
on.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.